Commander, let's get something straight. Warhammer 40,000 isn't just a game. It's a universe you step into, one plastic model at a time. On the tabletop, you command an army of miniatures, each one a warrior, tank, or alien from this far future galaxy. Your job: outsmart, outroll, and outmaneuver your opponent through a series of battle rounds, moving units, opening fire, charging into melee, and claiming objectives across the board. The mechanical side: strategy, dice, and rule precision. But what makes 40,000 different from any other war game is that it feels alive. Every model has a story. The Space Marines on your desk isn't just a plastic soldier. He's part of a chapter with 10,000 years of lore. The alien monstrosity across the table, it's the spearhead of a hive fleet that devours entire planets. Your dice rolls tell a narrative. Every critical hit, every fail, save adds drama to your war story. When you play 40K, you're not just moving minis, you're commanding legends. You're deciding whether a desperate squad holds the line or falls in glorious defeat. Those last a few hours, but the hobby lasts decades. Paint, customize, bringing the armies in your imagination to life. Some players love painting and modeling. Others live for competition and strategy. Most of us, we all love it all. If this mission briefing is helping you make sense of the madness, tap that subscribe button and stay on comms. I drop new debriefs every week, painting tips, faction guides, and other battle breakdowns, so you'll never head into the next war unprepared. Flexible. You can play tiny scrimmages with a few squads or massive battles covering entire tables. The rules scale up or down, so whether you're fighting over a single outpost or conquering a planet, it still feels epic. Heart? 40K is about storytelling through conflict. 2 players, a few handful of dice, one unforgettable war. The story you tell on the battlefield is yours, and that's why you keep coming back. Someone asks you, what is Warhammer 40,000? This is chess with explosions, D&D with laser guns, and an art project that fights back. And we're just getting started. Point 2, the galaxy and its faction. Before we can lead an army, you have to know what kind of galaxy you're marching into. 40,000 isn't a single planet or conflict. It's an entire galaxy consumed by endless war. Grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. And every faction believes they're the last hope or the final doom. Imperium of Man. Humanity rules a million worlds, or tries to. Imperium is a crumbling empire, ruled by a silent emperor entombed on Terra. His people worship him as a god, and his armies fight on 1,000 fronts every second of every day. Soldiers with nothing but fate and laser guns. The Adeptus Mechanicus, priests of metal who believe flesh is weakness. And of course, the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marine. Foot-tall demigods engineered for war. Each one a legend with 10,000 years of history behind his armor. Humanity's angels, but also its executioners. In this universe, even the good guys burn planets to save them. Chaos. The greatest threat to mankind doesn't come from aliens. It comes from within. Raider Space Marines and mortal cultists of chaos serve dark gods that feed on human emotion, rage, excess, despair, and decay. Is their domain. A sea of psychic madness where reality bends to willpower. Loyal sons of the Empire, these warriors turned on humanity in a civil war. March beneath a banner of blood and shadow, seeking to corrupt and destroy everything that still remembers loyal. Fallen, the nightmare reflection of the Empire's own cruelty. Xenos threat. In the light of humanity are the Xenos. Every alien horror the galaxy can conjure. Orcs, violent, hilarious, unstoppable. They believe fighting makes things work, and somehow it does. All Empire, young and armed with advanced tech, preaching unity through the greater good. Tyranids, a hive mind swarm that drifts between galaxies, consuming every scrap of biomass it touches. Dari, an ancient psychic race struggling to survive their own arrogance. The Dakari, their twisted kin who live for torture and excess. The Necrons, skeleton machine lords awaking from tomb worlds to reclaim what was once theirs. Action is a fully realization. Lore, armies, playstyles, and personalities. They're not just enemies on the board. They're living myths fighting over a dying galaxy. This war. Every battle you play represents one spark in the internal conflict. The same rules you'll see on the tabletop, battle rounds, data sheets, strategy exist to simulate this constant struggle. Makes 40K so unique. It's not just a game of dice and plastic, it's a shared story across a generation, 1,000 years of war, and somehow it still feels like it's only the beginning. Whose side will you choose? In the next turning point, we'll stop talking about the galaxy and start playing in it. Turning point 3. How Warhammer 40K actually plays. Commander, we know the galaxy's burning, but what actually happens when you sit down to play Warhammer 40K? It's simple. 2 players, 2 armies, 1 battlefield. Set up your armies on the table. Full of terrain, ruins, bunkers, alien rocks, whatever you have. You both take turns moving, shooting, fighting until one side claims victory. A full game is made up of battle rounds. Each battle round has a few key phases. The steps both players follow in order. The command phase. At the start of your turn, you check your special rules, regain command points, and use any ability that happens automatically. Points or CP are like fuel for your special tactics. You'll spend them to use stratagems, powerful tricks that can change the battle. Think of this phase as your armory waking up, reloading, and getting orders before the action starts. The movement phase. This is when the battle really begins. You move your models across the board toward your objectives or the enemy. Some troops walk, some fly, and some teleport straight into the fight. Measure every move in inches, no guessing. If you want, you can advance moving a little bit farther but losing your chance to shoot later. Movement decides who controls the map. The shooting phase. You're in range, it's time to open fire. You pick one of your units, choose a target, and roll dice to see if your attacks hit. The weapon has its own stats: strength, range, and armor-piercing ability. The enemy rolls to see if their armor holds or if their model is removed from the battlefield. It's fast, it's loud, and sometimes the dice have a cruel sense of humor. Charge phase. Some units don't want to shoot. They want to charge. You roll 2 dice to see how far they rush forward into close combat. And make the distance, they crash into the enemy. If they fail, they're left standing out in the open. Charges are risky, but when they work, they look epic. Phase. This is where blades clash and the dice really start fighting. You and your opponent take turns swinging in a melee combat. It's brutal, personal, and sometimes the battle turns here. Dust settles. Any unit still standing might take battle shock tests to see if they stay and fight or fall back in fear. Then your opponent takes their turn, and the battle round continues. You'll keep playing rounds until the mission goals are complete or one army can't keep fighting. Games last 5 rounds, some go longer. Move, every dice roll, every decision, it all builds your story. Even when you lose, it still feels like a victory because Commander, you don't just play Warhammer 40,000, you live it. Point 4, building your first army. Commander, you know how the game plays. Now let's talk about the army you'll command, because before you roll any dice, you'll need a force that's ready for battle. Warhammer army is made of units, squad, heroes, vehicles, or monsters. Each has its own rules written on something called a data sheet. It tells you everything you need to know: how fast it moves, how tough it is, how strong the weapons are, and what special abilities it has. It's basically your unit's ID card. The sheet might look like a wall of stats at first, but it's easier than it seems. Things like this: movement, M, or a model can move in inches. T, how hard it is to wound. Save is SV, the number you need to roll to block an attack. Wounds, W, how much damage it can take before it's destroyed. Ship, LD, how brave the unit is under fire. OC, objective control, how well it holds ground on the battlefield. It also has keywords, labels that tell you what kind of unit it is. For example, a Space Marine might have the keyword Infantry, Imperium, or Adeptus Astartes. Keywords help other rules and abilities know how they play to. It's how the game keeps everything organized without drowning you in a text. Points and balances. Each unit costs points, listed in the field manual. The official balance guide updated every few months by Games Workshop. Make sure your army and your opponent's army are roughly equal in power. A small beginning game might use a 500-point army. A standard battle might be 1,000 or 2,000 points per side. The goal isn't to buy the biggest models, it's to build a balanced force that fits your strategy and your playstyle. Structure. When you build your army, you'll usually pick one faction to fight for, like Space Marines, Orcs, or Tyranids. Within the faction, you can mix different types: troops to hold ground, elites to hit hard, vehicles for support, and characters to lead them. Factions also have something called a detachment. Detachments are like themes or playstyles within the faction. Each one gives your army special abilities, a few unique stratagems, and sometimes a way to change how your units behave. For example, the Space Marines can choose from different chapters, like Ultramarines or Blood Angels, each with their own flavor and bonuses. This lets you customize your army to match your style of war. Have a good army. When you're starting out, the best advice is to keep it simple. Pick one faction that looks cool to you. Start with a combat patrol box. It's a small pre-made army that's balanced right out of the box. Learn how it plays, and expand from there. Worry about building the perfect list. There's no such thing. You'll lose some games, win some others, and you'll learn how your units work best together. That's the real joy of Warhammer. Your army grows as you do. There's the painting and collecting models is part of the fun too. Sometimes. When you finish your first squad, that's your army. You built it, you painted it, and soon you'll be commanding it on the battlefield. Army in 40K tells a story. And now, Commander, time to write yours. In the next turning point, we'll talk about how to plan your first battle, what missions look like, and how victory is earned. Because anyone can build an army. Everyone can lead it to glory. Turning point 5. Planning your first battle and winning missions. Commander, you've built your army. Now it's time to lead into battle. The dice start rolling, you need a plan. Because Warhammer 40,000 isn't just about fighting. It's about winning missions. It starts with a mission. A mission tells you how to set up the table, where to deploy your forces, and what your objectives are. You and your opponent agree on a mission before the game begins. It decides how victory is earned and how the story of the battle will unfold. The table is usually covered with terrain, ruins, craters, walls, or alien landscapes. Terrain isn't just decoration, it shapes the battlefield. Behind cover gives protection from any fire. Higher ground can help you see farther or shoot better. A well-placed wall can save your army from being wiped out on the first turn. Battlefield is ready, you both take turns placing units. It's called deployment. Place your models can decide the whole game. Fast units near open ground, range units in clear line of fire, and objectives holders near cover. Think of it like chess, but every piece has its own special rule and weapon. The dice start rolling. Take 1 minute to look at the map and ask yourself, what's my goal this turn? The single question will make you a better player faster than any rulebook. Battle? Both players score victory points, often called VPs. These points come from holding objectives, destroying key enemy units, or completing special tasks called secondary objectives. Missions usually give you points for controlling certain markers on the board, each one representing something important like comms relay or a sacred ruin. The player with the most points at the end of the game wins, not necessarily one with the most models left standing. It means Warhammer 40K isn't just about killing your opponent, it's about controlling the story of the battle. Sometimes retreating or sacrificing a squad is a smart move if it wins you the mission. First, battle plan. For your first few games, keep it simple. Play a 500 point or command patrol size. Focus on learning your unit roles. Don't worry about every stratagem or combo right away. Choosing one easy goal, like hold to objective each turn or protect your leader. Small goals will teach you how the game flows. Once you know your army, you'll naturally start thinking ahead, when to push, when to hold, and when to gamble everything on one last charge. The game you play teaches you something new, not just about your army, but about you as a commander. You'll learn patience, timing, and when to trust the dice or defy them. For Warhammer 40K isn't just about victory points, it's about the story that unfolds on the table. Every game is a new chapter, every painted model is a character in your army's legend. Mistake is a lesson that makes your next battle even better. Commander, are you ready to take to the field? Because your first war isn't just about winning, it's about becoming part of Warhammer 40K. Welcome to the fight. Commander is Warhammer 40,000, a galaxy on fire where your imagination decides who lives and who falls. You've seen what it is, how it plays, and how to build your first army. But trust me, this is only the beginning. This briefing helped light that spark, hit that subscribe, and stay in formation. We've got new missions dropping every week right here on Tabletop Nexus. Drop a comment and tell me which faction you want to command first. Loyal servant of the Emperor? Or are you ready to burn the galaxy in his name? Until next time, stand tall, roll true, and remember, grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But it's never been this fun.